Most scientists consider that thoughts and feelings are nothing more than electrical signals generated by the brain as a response to the information received from the internal and external stimuli. Every time you feel a breeze, when you eat or you drink, whether you stare at the fire or you're watching TV, when you're thinking about something or you're talking with someone, each of these events is triggering a series of electric signals in your body. The photoreceptors from the retina are picking up information from the visible electromagnetic spectrum and are generating electrical impulses for every color, hue, and brightness. The mechanoreceptors from the inner ear convert sound into electrical nerve pulses. The neural receptors in the skin, and also those from hair follicles, tongue, throat, and mucosa, are activating as a response to variations in pressure, giving the sensation of touch. The thermoreceptors in the skin detect the existence or the absence of heat. The chemoreceptors are sending electrical impulses as a response to chemical changes, and all these electric signals are carried through the nervous system to the brain, allowing the body to detect and assess the state of the internal and external environment. Situated in the most protected part of the body, the brain is formed of about 100 billion nerve cells called neurons, interconnected by trillions of synapses, and performs thousands of trillions of operations per second. In an adult person, the brain consumes in its resting state about 20% of the body's energy, and each synapse transmits, on average, about 1 electrical impulse per second, though some specialized connections can send up to 1,000 electrical signals per second. The electrical activity generated by the brain can be measured with the help of a device called an electroencephalograph, and if you are interested in learning more about the brainwaves and why do you have the best ideas right before going to sleep, I already posted on my channel a video about this topic, so feel free to check it out. Based on the information received from the internal and external stimuli, the brain sends back to the internal organs and systems electrical impulses, regulating the body's temperature, breathing, digestion, heartbeat, blood pressure, and much more. Any disruption in the body's electrical flux can lead to illness. For example, for the heart to pump, cells must generate electrical currents that allow the heart muscle to contract at the right time. Irregular electrical currents that prevent the heart muscles from contracting correctly can lead to various types of arrhythmia, stroke, heart failure, and even sudden death. In the past decades, by mapping the brain's neural activity and studying its neurocircuitry, neuroscientists discovered many new things about the human brain that completely shifted the way we think about the relationship between the brain and the human body. For instance, as opposed to the old belief that the brain cells we were born with are the brain cells we will die with, scientists discovered that the brain is capable of growing new neurons. In other words, the brain you woke up in one morning is not identical to the brain you're going to sleep with at night. The new neurons are grown particularly in response to traumas, and neuroscientists discovered that an individual has the ability to change his brain and the way the neurons are communicating simply by changing his way of thinking. Although in its awake state the brain generates enough electricity to power a light bulb, the electromagnetic field generated by the brain is small compared to that generated by the heart. Research made at the HeartMath Institute showed that the heart produces the largest rhythmic electromagnetic field of any of the body's organs. By using superconducting quantum interference device-based magnetometers, scientists determined that the electromagnetic field generated by the heart is about 60 times greater in amplitude and over 100 times greater in strength than the electromagnetic field generated by the brain. Moreover, whereas the electrical activity of the brain can be measured only in the skull area, the electromagnetic field generated by the heart can be detected up to 1 meter away from the body, in all directions. And, while scientists are debating whether or not the universal solvent has memory, it is a well-known fact that water interacts with electromagnetic radiation. Also, as you already saw in the previous parts of this series, water plays the most crucial role in all life on Earth, and everything that we do is, one way or another, related to water. We are born from the union of a woman's ovum, which has a water content of over 70%, and a male's spermatozoon, which density, and also its quality, depend almost entirely on its water content. The human body is nothing more than trillions of cells, all working together, and the normal functioning of the cell's systems, as well as the cell's health and ability to reproduce, are strictly related to the cell's water content. During pregnancy, the heart begins to form in the third week after conception, and it starts to beat in the following week, along with the development of the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerve trunks, which, in an adult person, are all made of about 73% water. And, since thoughts and emotions arise as the brain interprets the information received from the external and internal stimuli, this means that every single time you have a thought or a feeling, a neuron is firing an electrical impulse in the next neuron. And, through the spinal cord and the nerve trunks, the signals are carried all over the body, generating a disturbance in the surrounding electromagnetic field and affecting, to a greater or lesser degree, virtually every single cell, organ, and system. What's even more intriguing is that scientists discovered that the electromagnetic field generated by the heart is changing according to your emotions. While negative emotions can create nervous system chaos, positive emotions can increase the brain's ability to make good decisions. Through the electromagnetic field radiating from your heart, the quality of your emotions can be picked up not only by the other people around you, but also by plants and animals, exerting an influence both upon the water from your body and that from your surroundings. If we look at the big picture, we are nothing more than little water cells, sharing a single home, a wonderful blue planet, a tiny drop of water in the immense universe. Through water, we are all connected, and every single uttered word, every action you make, and every single thought or feeling you have is affecting the water's structure, starting from your cells to the internal organs and beyond.